The good life, full of fun.
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today's a big day. We're gonna take a trip to Bologna, Italy. And why do I say that? Because today we're gonna make Bolognese sauce, or what we're actually gonna make is ragu alla Bolognese, which is essentially a meat sauce from Bologna. Bologna, Italy, a beautiful area of Italy in the northern region. And what you get from Bologna, Italy, one is bologna, right? Bologna. Second is going to be lasagna. Third is going to be Bolognese sauce. So a Bolognese sauce is actually a sauce that's used in lasagna or coupled with a wide pasta. So that's what we're going to make today. We're going to make a Bolognese sauce. We're going to put it over tagliatelle, which is a wider form of pasta. It holds, it's heartier pasta, and it's going to hold up a little bit more flavor. That's why they use typically a wider pasta, or like a lasagna for it. So I'm going to show you how to make it. It's a delicious recipe. It's going to be meaty. It's going to have a lot of depth to it, a lot of depth of flavor to it. So I'm excited to share it with you, and I think it's going to be a great dish for you to share with your family, and certainly set a tradition for your family from years on out. So let me share with you some of the ingredients. So what we have is veal. So I've got 1 pound of veal. I've got 2 pounds of ground beef. I've got 1 can, if you will, of a large can of San Marzano tomatoes, crushed. Okay. And now what I've got is pancetta. I've got a half of a pound of pancetta, salt, olive oil, wine. We're going to use a splash. I'll show you how to use that. Now what we want to make, anytime you make a sauce, typically you're going to make a soffritto, which is essentially your base for a lot of sauces and a lot of soups for that matter. So in this case, it typically starts with celery. We're going to use onion, garlic. Most Soffrittos, especially even in a Bolognese sauce, traditionally use carrots. But I don't like carrots. And so I don't really like a sweet sauce, and I don't like carrots in my sauce. The other thing I like, since we're just being honest with each other here, I don't like green peas either. Fresh green peas, like I'm not a big fan of them either. But I don't like carrots in my sauce. So a lot of the Soffrittos will traditionally have a carrot. So just so you know, that's why I left that out, because I'm making the sauce for me and my family, and I don't like carrots. So okay, and then we're going to use a little butter, and then typically at the end of your cooking of the sauce, we're going to add some cream. You don't want to put cream in real early, because the cream a lot of times can curdle. So you want to throw that right when the sauce is done. You're going to mix some cream in, and then you're going to serve it. So it's going to be absolutely delicious, and we're going to love this. It's going to be a lot of fun. So first thing we need to do is make a soffritto. So I took a few minutes here before we got going, just to save us time, to cut up some things. And I was so excited to share Italian ingredients with you. I actually tried to put part of myself in the mix. That's why I've got a little bandage here. So I cut my finger today when I was cutting some of the parsley, okay? But no blood in here. We do have some raw, fresh meat, but none of the meat in here is mine, all right? All right, so that being said, let's make our soffritto. So what I've got going over here is I've got a pan, and I'm gonna throw some olive oil in there. And so let me just do that. Let me throw a little olive oil on the bottom. I like to put enough olive oil in there to cover the bottom. So in that case, it's probably about 1/3 of a cup. And real easy, we're gonna turn the heat on. I always like a cast iron. I like the high side. You guys probably heard me talk about that before, because it's just a neater version of a cast iron pan to keep all your ingredients in. I've got celery. So what do I got? I got a heavy cup of celery, a heavy cup of onion, and I've got 6 cloves of garlic, okay? And sometimes people say that's a lot. You're hanging out with the wrong people if you think it's a lot. That's my opinion. Now what do we've got? We've got parsley, right? And we've got pancetta. So I'm going to put most of the parsley in there. This is the Italian flat parsley, and it's got it almost has like a citrus flavor to it, or scent to it. I'm going to save a little bit just to garnish, okay? So I'll set that off to the side. And now what's going to happen is you hear people talk about like sweating the onions and so forth. Essentially, that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring the onion, the celery, our garlic, our parsley, we're going to cook all that down. And when that gets down a little bit more, I'm going to add the white wine. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these ingredients out, off to the side, leave the olive oil that's in there, any of the juices that are in there, and then I'm going to throw in my meat. Cook the meat, add the sauce, and add the soffritto, which we've already cooked. Mix that in there. Molto deleccio. It's going to be fantastic. So I'll tune with you guys in a second.
I just want to show you one quick little shot here. See how this is cooking down? I got to tell you, the smell in this kitchen. Oh my God. This is it. This is a Soffritto. Like I said, normally you'd put carrot in there. We talked about that, right? I don't like carrot? Okay, I didn't know if I told you that. Oh, that's good stuff. All right, just want to show you what's going on. We're about halfway through bringing these down. We're going to get them nice and brown, like I said. Then we'll add a little white wine, reduce it down a little bit more, and I'll show you a few steps. This is going to be some phenomenal Bolognese. Talk to you guys in a minute. Hey guys, all right, so if you can shoot in quick. Now this is me. I like to caramelize it and then just get it on the verge of dark. So it's not burned, but it's right on that verge, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my butter. And again, the butter doesn't handle the heat well, so you don't want to put your butter in there until right near the end, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my butter in there, okay? And now what I've got is all that really deep caramelized, oh God, it's got that deep smell. It's rich. So the butter's going to add that depth of flavor. It's going to make it smooth, creamy. Oh, see that? Now when you mix that butter, it changes everything in it. Oh my God, the smell is delicious. Now, once that's melted, I'm gonna add some white wine. So I'm gonna add white wine. I'm gonna add about 1/3 of a cup. Now you're gonna watch this really start to bubble here in a second, okay? Now the wine will add a little bit of flavor, but the other benefit you have with alcohol, oh yeah, I can smell that, that's delicious, is the alcohol acts as a solvent, so it extracts, like if you guys have heard of a vodka sauce, what you're really doing is you're using the alcohol to extract more of the flavor from the onion, in this case the Soffritto sauce, okay? So this is gonna, now this will cook down, so I'm gonna wait till the bubbles stop when then the alcohol's out. As soon as that's the case, we're gonna pull this right out of the dish, and then we're gonna start cooking that pancetta, okay? All right, so this is essentially done, that's great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this out, real simple, okay? So I'm gonna pull this out. Now what I wanna try to do here is I just wanna save the oil. See, because your oil's got all that beautiful flavor from your Soffritto, right? So let me just pull that out. Because what we want to do now is we want to cook the pancetta, okay? So the heat's coming back up, beautiful. I'm going to set that aside. Now I'm going to take my pancetta, I'm going to put that right in there. Okay? And we're going to cook this pancetta down first. And then once that pancetta is cooked down, then we're going to get it nice and hot. We'll dump that right back into the Soffritto, and then we're going to add our meat. Oh, this is going to be delicious. I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Okay, guys, so let me just show you. I just pulled this off to the side. So here's my pancetta. So again, see how nice and brown that is? It's not burnt. It's right on that edge, right? Oh my God, that smells so good. So it gives you that smoky, delicious depth of flavor. When you caramelize it like that, all the sugar within the meat, all the sugar within your garlic, all the sugar within your onions, and all that sugar comes out, and it gives you that flavor, which is just so delicious. So now I've got this out, right? Now I've got that oil that's is infused with the pancetta, right, and the Soffritto. Now I'm going to take my meat, okay? I'm going to take my beef, right, and my veal. And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear a sizzle. Get right near the end here. So I got a pound of veal, 2 pounds of beef. You hear that? And now you want it to get brown. And you got that nice oil that's all infused with that flavor, right? And you want to start breaking it up as it's cooking. Oh, this is good. Hey guys, come on in. Come on into my kitchen. Boy, if you guys could smell that, huh? Don't you wish you had smell-o-vision on your camera, on your TV there? Isn't that good stuff? So I want to show you. See how it's just starting to catch on the bottom of that pan? See how it's just starting to brown? So you have little bits of brown in there? That's what you want. That's essentially like caramelizing the meat. And see how that's perfect. That's right where we want it, okay? So now what I'm going to do is the meat's right where I want it, okay? I'm going to turn down the heat. So I had the heat cranking. That was probably about 10 minutes that went by, just to give you a heads up, all right? And then I'm going to put my pancetta, my Soffritto in, Now why didn't I do that before? Because this wouldn't take the heat. So I'm getting all those flavors from the oil and the butter and the wine. I mean, that's unbelievably delicious, right? So now I'm going to mix that in while this is browning, okay? So you can see now how that's really starting to go, okay? That's just marrying all the flavors. So I like to mix it here for just a minute. So look at that, you got bits of pancetta. The meat's browning on the bottom perfectly. See that? See how it's catching on the bottom? It's not burning, it's just catching, it's roasted. That is absolutely fantastic. Man, if you could smell through your TV set or computer or handheld device right now, I'm telling you what. Okay, so now we're good. Now what I want to do is I want to add my sauce. So now I'm going to add my tomato. Okay, now I'm not going to add a lot of recipes will call for like a tomato paste. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add tomato and then I'm going to let it cook. Now we're going to let heat and magic take its course, okay? So now I'm going to stir the tomato in. And what that's going to do is that's going to, because it's room temperature, it's going to almost stop your cooking, right? I've got the heat low. Oh, that's delicious. Look at that. We're going to let time and heat cook that tomato down. And not that it's watery, but you're going to cook that moisture out of the tomato, and then you're going to cook all those flavors together. They're going to marry. And what I like to do, I just like to do that final scraping on the bottom just to bring out all those nice little brown bits off, okay? Now what I want to do, last thing, I'm going to add some salt and pepper, okay? So I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of salt, right? And I'm going to add a good teaspoon heavy on your brown pepper, okay? Oh my gosh, if you guys could smell that right now, holy moly. Hey! That was good stuff. Alright, pasta's done. So my little trick, okay? Take some pasta, take your dish, put a little bit of olive oil in there, okay? And then, while this is cooking, or so, whoa. I like to wear the Bolognese sauce, I don't know if you know that or not. Try not to look at my shirt. We got a light budget here. I don't have a costume assistant. All right, so here we go. Or wardrobe, I should say, assistant. All right, so here we go. We're gonna pop that in. And don't worry, there's gonna be a little water in there, it's totally fine. Okay, look at that. See how that's a wider pasta? And you want a little bit of the water because it's filled with flavor from the pasta. Oh, that's good. So let me fill this in. Now I'm gonna show you how to prep that sauce. So what I got here is I got 2 pounds of pasta because we got a house full of people, okay? So I think one of my videos I had my son Joey on, so you can imagine how much that guy eats. All right, so now that's off, and then what I recommend you do is just so you just stir it a little with that olive oil on the bottom, and then your pasta won't stick together, okay? If you put it in the water, it's not a good idea because what it does is it coats the outside of the pasta and it prevents the pasta from absorbing the moisture. That's problem number 1. So that's perfect, right? All right, so there we go. So let me set that aside. I've got this going. Now what I'm going to do here, this has been cooking for a while, right? So I'm going to turn the heat down really low. Okay, and now we're going to add our cream. So we're going to add our cream right at the end. All right? And just nice and slow. And that's just going to give it a depth of flavor. There you go. So that's a cup of cream is what I put in there, okay? And again, you can't let the cream cook. Oh, whoa, I'm spilling it over here. I'm so excited. You want to put the cream in when the sauce is done, okay? And then here, see? A little bit of a mess, no problem. No one will see nothing. You guys didn't see that, did you? Oh, this is good. You guys got to turn the volume up and the smell sensor because this is delicious. Now you're going to see the Bolognese is going to have a lighter sauce. So the history of Bolognese sauce is it was actually several years after it was originally written up that you started to add more of a cream to the end. And this is just an absolute delicious sauce. Okay? So that sauce is done. Perfect. So I'm going to set up a plate. Molto delicioso, huh? All right, so now I'm gonna take a nice scoop of the Bolognese sauce, okay? And I probably won't even use all that. I guess I will. Perfect, okay? Isn't that great? So come on right over in front and I'll show you how we set this up. You guys ready? We are in Bologna. Do you feel like you're in Bologna, Emily? I actually feel like I'm in my grandmother's kitchen right now, but... So here we go, okay? So I'm gonna put a little bit, and just a little bit of dressing of that, okay? Is that just absolutely delicious? Does that look absolutely awesome? So you're gonna see, again, traditionally, you can use anything you want. You can use spaghetti, don't think you gotta use the tagliatelle. You can use linguine, fettuccine, but traditionally, again, and I always try to bring you guys the traditional dish, traditionally it's used with a wider pasta, because it's a heartier, heavier, richer meal. So you wanna have a nice hunk of pasta with the sauce, okay? Remember I told you my skill is the perfect bite? Oh my God, you can smell the pancetta, the tomato. You know, that's that San Marzano tomato, which is the best. Oh my God. I'm telling you right now, the veal, the beef, the pancetta, the tomato, everything's roasted, so it's got a nice flavor. There's so many layers of flavor that you're getting in there. Oh my God. When this camera goes off, that plate doesn't stand a chance. It will be in my belly. Oh my God. Guys, thanks for inviting me into your kitchen, certainly in your family. Hopefully you're setting up some new traditions and sharing your heritage with your family, just as I'm so proud and excited to share my traditions and my heritage with you. Talk to you guys next week.
A good life, full of fun.